Testing, testing, making sure everybody can hear me okay. So just checking, making sure everyone can hear me okay. Can everyone hear me all right? All right. So we are live on YouTube finally. All right. And I am, let's see. Testing, testing, making sure everybody can hear me okay. So just checking, making sure everyone can hear me okay. Can everyone hear me all right? All right, so we are live on YouTube finally. All right, and I am, let's see.
You're in the discovery calls
Yeah,
one?
I know.
Okay,
Yeah, I did
just
that on
making sure.
purpose.
Okay.
I did it on purpose. That way you could just see more people. That's fine. Because the people that would people are not supposed to just anyway come into. So I did it on purpose. So they're supposed to go to YouTube. So if they go on inside, I'm wondering if I should just, I mean, if I change it, but
No, that's good. That's good.
I just can't tell if anyone is in so right now we're live on YouTube and I just need to be able to see who's in the chat so I can answer any questions and or just get into it because I'm just getting ready to get into it now, but I can't see. I'm just looking for the chat box. So for all y'all that are listening right now, just bear with me. We will be up and running. This is only my second YouTube ever but I got some real good stuff for you. So I'm gonna share some stuff. But it's my second YouTube live with on off of streaming from Zoom. So checking to see where my live chat is. All right, so I'll just end up, what I'll do is I'll just set it up on my phone, my live chat. We'll do that. How about that? And then that should solve that problem. But because I know I can see it on the computer, I can't see where I could see it at. So let's go to YouTube Studio. Let's get in. No, I don't want to do that either. All right. I hope I ain't really. That ain't gonna work. All right, cool. So I see Tiana says she's here, she's watching. And all right, good. So all right, so I'm just gonna get in, just get into what we're going to get into. And I know tonight is the live session. We might want to, if you want Taina or Chris or whoever, you might want to just create a post inside the platform to let everyone know that and just give them the link that's actually if you click on the calendar inside of there, the link for the YouTube is there. So in fact, I could probably provide, I'm not sure if I could provide the link to this to this live. I'm not sure. Let's see. I don't see it. We'll get good at this. So all right. So all right. So if you guys are still if there's anyone that's still struggling with like having success now hold on. Now I got this light issue behind me. So not in my normal setting. So forgive me. But, that. How about that? Not in my normal setting. The reason why I'm not in my normal setting is because we're having a baby. Can I get an amen? So we're having a baby. And the reason, so when I say having a baby, we just had a baby a week ago. We're having another one. We're having another baby. So now it's not me having the baby. It's actually my daughter and my son. So my son and my daughter-in-law had a baby a week ago. So we flew back from Florida. We were in New York for about 2 months, and then we left and came back to Florida. And then a few days later, they had the baby. So we jumped back on the plane and headed back to New York. It's gonna be nice. I can tell you, like, that helped me to realize how nice flying private is. Like, flying private is like so just such a wonderful thing. And I didn't fly private. So I'm looking forward to getting my jet card, because I've been flying private a lot over the last 3 or 4 months, and I was commercial, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not fun. So I'm just glad we got there safely. But so we flew back to New York, and then we came to Florida, and then we came back to Florida. We were there for a week, got a chance to do grandma and granddad things and just hang out with our baby Ezekiel Maurice Graham. Awesome. And now we're back because we're about to have another baby. And the other baby is by my daughter and my son, Chris. Now, this will be their third. And I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, because they're making it this big old secret. So we got a big secret that we have to wait, and they're having it next week. So I'm not in my normal setting because we just got here. Like we just got here to their house where we'll be digging in for about a month or two or so. And because this is what we do. Like we gonna be grandma and granddad for to help support bring in the new arrival, and help my daughter, help my son, so that and we just love doing this stuff. So in any case, that is why I'm not in my normal setting. Now, all right, so what we're gonna do today, so this is our first time live on YouTube with our normal Thursday night group session. And there's a few things I really want to be able to, I'm gonna get into. But one of the main things right now I'm going to get into is success, right? So I was on the beach. Yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday, day before? I think it was yesterday. So I made this nice long video on YouTube. I mean, not YouTube. I recorded it so that I can play it on YouTube. And then I realized that the mics that I had, they were dead. So I might as well just go live with it now. And what I did was, what I talked about was, if you're struggling with success, the reason that you're struggling with success may not be the reason you think you are. So what do I mean by that? If success is a combination of a few things. Success it really comes down to simple decisions, right? So success comes down to simple decisions And it also comes down to surrounding yourself. So simple decisions that you make, and who you surround yourself with that make, well, I'm going to back up. So simple decisions and business success comes down to making the complicated simple. And then who you surround yourself with will help make the complicated simple, so that the things that you do that will normally, for the ones on the outside looking in, it would only mean hundreds or thousands when you're talking about dollars or return, versus for those of us looking from the inside out, turns that into millions. So let me explain. So simple decisions. So the way I explained it was Warren Buffett. So I was listening to a interview some time ago with Warren Buffett, and he was being interviewed by Steve Forbes from Forbes magazine, former president, nominee, presidential nominee. So I can't remember what year he ran. It was a few elections back. But Steve Forbes. So he interviewed Warren, and Warren said he asked Warren Buffett, what would you attribute your success to? And Warren said, well, people ask me that all the time, and I don't normally, I don't, there's a lot of answers, but it really comes down to a couple of things. One, he says, I don't see myself as being any more special than the next person. We all have our gifts, we all have our talents. He says, but the one thing that it really comes down to is decision making, right? He says, so decision making, he says decision making, and let me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. So let me share my screen, because I'll show you, just give you a little bit of a diagram to make this a little bit more fun. How about that? So it comes down to decision making. So let's see, I'm going to share, hold on, my screen. Here we go. Should be on in a minute or so. Not a minute, in like 30 seconds. Boom. All right, cool. So here we go. Should be able to see my screen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 now. All right, if you can see my screen, that's good. Okay, so let's get this up, and we'll get a new, there we go. We'll just do that. All right, so here's my screen. So what Warren Buffett said is that decisions are like the stock market. He says, we all make decisions. We make good decisions and we make bad decisions, not so good decisions, right? And so what he said was, if we can avoid, if we're doing the right thing and we're using wisdom, then chances are, he says, if you're doing the right thing, you're using wisdom, you're smart, then chances are you're going to make more good decisions than you'll make bad. He says, and so over time, the way the stock market is, if you look at the stock market over a 1-year period, just say you look at the stock market just today, what you're going to see is a lot of this, like a lot of that, ups and downs, right? That's one day. If you look at the stock market over a week, sorry for my writing, it's let's see, we'll fix that. So if you look at the stock market over a 1-week period, the stock market is going to do the same. It's going to look the same way, ups and downs. He says, if you look at it over a 1 month period, it's going to look the same way, ups and downs, right? So, and if you look at it over a 1 year period, it's going to look pretty much the same, a bunch of ups and downs. You're just going to see more of it. But when you look at it over like a 10-year period, you're going to see ups and downs, but what you're going to see is going to look like that because the stock market's always gone up. And if you look at it over a 20-year period, you're going to see the same thing. You're going to see a lot of the jig jags, but it's going to look the same. He said, what you want to do, so if you're making good decisions and you're going to have good decisions, not so good decisions. If you're wise, if you're learning, if you're diligent, then your bad decisions are going to, or your good decisions are going to outweigh your bad, and then you'll end up ahead of the game. He says, but what you really want to do is avoid a catastrophe. And what a catastrophe is something that will set you all the way back to zero or worse. So like, what kind of things can be considered catastrophes? Like, there's things that could be considered catastrophes, like divorce, like that's a catastrophe. Going to jail, doing something stupid, that's a catastrophe. Like losing your business, that's a catastrophe. Going bankrupt, that's a catastrophe. There's a lot of things. Getting really, really, really sick, that's a catastrophe. So like those kinds of things, when those things happen, not only do you set yourself all the way back to zero so that you pretty much wipe out all the momentum that you had here, and then you got to start over again from the beginning, right? Remember, this is a 10 and a 20-year period. 10-year, 20-year, right? So 10 and 20 years is a series of these 1 week. It's a series of 1 week. It's a series of 1 month. It's a series of 1 year. But after you put in the time, you're making good decisions. You're taking care of yourself. You're taking care of your family. You're taking care of your business. You're making good decisions. Then over time, that 1 year you'll be up. The next year you'll be up. The next year you'll be up. The next year you'll be up. Some years you're going to be way up. Like by the grace of God, like we went from zero, like when I got into the Airbnb space. So when I got into the Airbnb space, I went from zero. I could probably show it. Let me see if I can show it. I'll show it. Let's see if I can show it. Yeah, we'll show it. So when I got into the Airbnb space, we went from zero to take a look. So this is just one of my accounts, right? So in one of my accounts, when I got into the Airbnb space way back in, so this is live. People probably don't do this. This is one of my accounts. When I got into the Airbnb space, we went from 0 to 46,000 in the first year. So that's pretty good, right? I mean, it wasn't as good as like the traditional real estate stuff I was doing at the time, but traditional real estate, that's why I did Airbnb, because I wanted to get out of traditional real estate, the tenant drama and all this other stuff. So anyway, we went from 0 to 46,000 the first year. Then the second year, that was 2018. Then 2019, we went from 46,000 to 144, almost $145,000. So when you think about that, that's what, that's like 3.5 times. Right. So we went from we grew 300% in 1 year. That's pretty doggone good. Right. And then the next year, what happened? COVID happened. So COVID happened and like the world shut down. Most Airbnb hosts went to zero. We didn't go to zero by the grace of God because of the model that we have, which is we're not dependent. Our bread and butter is not vacation travelers and tourists, it's business travelers. I'm not going to get into that. But because of that, we didn't go to zero. We actually still did pretty good. We did better than we did the previous year. We were expected to do about 200,000, 180, 200. We only did 145,000. And then the next year, we were still in COVID. We did 256. So we went from 145 to 256, almost double again. So first year from 0 to 46,000, second year from 46 to 144, 300 times growth. Then the next year we stayed pretty much where everybody was at zero. If you know somebody that was doing Airbnb when 2020 hit, when COVID hit, ask them. Airbnb went, everybody, I can tell you 90% of Airbnb hosts basically said, I'm done. I can't do this, because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to do it. Everything was shut down. They were vacation traveler people, right? And then, so we went from there to 256. And then the next year, which was last year, we actually, this is just one account, but then when you count all of our other accounts, this account showed that we did about 334,000 in this account. And then the other couple that we have, we were roughly around about 700,000, somewhere in that range. So in a 4-year span, we went from 0 to $700,000. 4-year span. Okay. What is that? That's a series of good decisions. And if I would have did something stupid that set me all the way back to zero, where I lose everything, right? Now, that's what Warren is saying. Just avoid that. Just avoid that. So success comes down to simple decisions, and that's life too. So when you think about life, I don't have my Bible with me. I think I left it in the car. But when we think about life also comes down to simple decisions. And we have a tendency to make those decisions a lot more complicated because we're getting bad advice from people who have made bad decisions based on their ego, based on stupid stuff we see on TV, based on stupid stuff we hear on the radio, based on the news, based on, unfortunately, stupid stuff that a lot of times we've been taught by our parents. And like, I grew up in a broken home. Like I had a broken home where, because my stepdad made stupid decisions, our home ended up being broken. My mom ended up being a single mom, and we ended up having to really see some pretty horrible things come out of that. And I had always vowed that I would never, ever make those same decisions where I would put my children in harm's way because I'm not there as a father, that I'm not there as a dad. There's a lot of fathers out there in the world, right? You have a baby, you're a father. But are you a dad? Like, are you around? Are you engaged? Are you there for your kids? Now, again, like, I know there's all kinds of situations, but guess what? I found myself at one point in my life in the same situation because I made stupid decisions that I said I would never make. And I almost lost my whole family. My wife, by the grace of God, we just celebrated our 38th year together last week. 30 years married, 38 years together. And again, by the grace of God, because I do not deserve that woman, because I made some stupid decisions. And I almost pretty much started off back at zero. Now, that's not the thing. Like when I say starting back at zero, starting back at like negative, it would have been not, that's not even zero, that's negative. Why? Because like now my kids, broken home, my wife, just anyway, I don't want to get into that, but that is like, I don't wish that on anyone. And I know a lot of people go through those kinds of things. It ain't about the separation of the finances, but keep it real. Like there would have been a separation of finances, but in all honesty, like you can have all the finances, because that's not what I was in this for. I'm in this because I made a covenant with you, with him, and with her. When I made that covenant, I didn't really understand what that covenant was all about, right? I didn't really understand what it was all about because I didn't know the Lord at that point. So I didn't know what it was really all about, but I did it. Like that's why it took me so doggone long to do it. 30 years together, took us 8 years to get married. Not because she wasn't ready, because I was stupid. I didn't know. Only thing I knew about marriage was they be like, people fail and people got hurt. And I didn't want to be one of those. So anyway, by the grace of God, that's when the Lord really started showing himself to me. I called out, I cried out to him. He showed himself. I came to know Jesus Christ, accepted him as my Lord and Savior, got saved, understood what his love was all about, understood how he loved me, how he called me as a husband and a father to love my children, my wife and my kids as his daughter and his children that are lent to me. Like they're not my kids, they're his kids that are lent to me. And my job as a parent was to what? Bring my children up in the training and instruction of the Lord. Right. So when I came to understand those things and came to understand that he would never leave me, he would never do something stupid and hurt us like I've been hurt with my stepdad, then just life changed. My heart changed from the inside out. And then because of that, he showed me how to love her. I loved her. Her heart changed. He brought our marriage back together. And the rest is history. So anyway, I know we weren't getting into that, but you know, it's live, right? So live, there's nothing to hide. I'm live, right? So all right, so good decisions, bad decisions. So that's life decisions. Business decisions, same thing. Like you start off at zero, you start off at -0. Then all those 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 1 month, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year decisions that you made that were going well. Like you think about this, it was going well. And then if we start back at zero, now we got to start all over again. And some people get to making like, oh, and by this time, this didn't even count my coaching. So the coaching piece, which I could also show you at this point, like our coaching piece, the first day that I started coaching, the first year we coached, I think I made like $26,000. The next year, I think I made like, 70 something thousand. I think it was like 120 or something like that. And then the next year I made $475,000, I think. And then the next year we did 1.4 million. Then the next year, 2 million. Like, and then guess what? Now, like we are knocking on the door of our first $1 million month. So now just think, if I make a stupid decision and we have to start all the way back at zero or negative, then like all of that was a waste. And now you got to start all over again. And people do that over and over and over again. Why? Because they don't eat right, because they don't, again, they're around the wrong people, because they have the wrong influences, because they ain't taking care of their bodies, they ain't exercising, they ain't taking care of their marriages, their first ministry, their family. And this is me. I ain't trying to force nothing on y'all, but I'm gonna tell you, and because their relationship with the Lord ain't right. I'm just gonna leave it at that. This is a judgment-free zone. So I ain't judging anybody. I'm just saying, if you got a relationship with the Lord if it wasn't for my relationship with the Lord, I'm gonna tell you I would not be here. Not at all. Because the decisions that I'm making will be based on my own wisdom. And if it's based on my own wisdom, it's very limited. Listen, I get all kinds of downloads when I'm praying, when I'm in the word, when I'm around others who know the Lord that are business people as well. And he's just his promises are true. His promises are true. He tells, and I love to share the scripture. He says, when I delight myself in him, we delight ourselves in the Lord, he shall give us the desires of our heart. He tells us that if we acknowledge him in all our ways, he shall direct our paths, he'll make our paths straight. So if he's giving me the desires of my heart, I know that he's also going to provide me the resources to make those things that he gave me the desire for, to bring those things to fruition. Right. And if he's guiding my steps, he's the creator of the universe. Like, he knows everything from beginning to end, Alpha and Omega. I can't fail. I was just sharing that with one of my students today. There's no way you can fail when you're obedient to his voice. Obedient to his voice. There's zero. You can't. It's impossible. You can't fail because he can't fail. And he's not ever going to steer us wrong. So, all right. So I went back there again. All right. So decisions, right? That's what Warren said. Warren didn't go that deep. I'm just giving you my perspective on decisions. Now, all right. So now what I said, business though, success with business comes down to making the complicated simple. One of my mottos is keep it simple. Like, you will hear me say that all the time. Keep it simple. I didn't say keep it easy. I didn't say the stuff going from zero to a couple $1 million in 4 years is easy. I didn't say that, but it's simple. And I didn't say going from a couple $1 million a year to now knocking on the door. We're en route to hitting $10 million a year just overnight. Like, that's another almost, it's not a 10x growth, it's a 5x growth, but where it could end up a 10x growth, because as quickly as we got from when we made a couple of the shifts to go from doing a couple $100,000 a month to over $1 million a month, like, there's really not I could see hitting a couple $1 million within the next few months, as long as we keep making great decisions, right? Good decisions, and stay on track. Don't do anything stupid. So I did not say though that it was easy. Now, let me qualify that though. I said it's simple, and I'll explain simple, but let me qualify when I say easy, because some of y'all might think, like, honestly, it's compared to what most people do, it is very easy. Like, compared to what most people do, like, when I think about the hardest workers in the world, and I was driving down the street a few months back in this gated community that we live in, and they were putting down new roads. And I was looking at these dudes that were putting down the roads. Man, these guys were good. Like, they were putting down these roads, but let me tell you, they were dirty. They were sweating. They were moving. Like, these guys were working hard, and they probably make pretty good money. Like, probably making, I don't know, $25, $30 an hour. What does that turn into? So $30 an hour times 10 is $300. 10 hours times 4, let's say. So $300 times 4, that's $1,200 a week if they're working 40 hours a week. $1,200 a week, 24, 48. So that's roughly about $60,000 a year. Maybe they're making $50 an hour. They're making $50 an hour. Now they're at 500 times 4 is 2,000 times 4 is 8,000, 896. That's $96,000 a year. So anywhere from $60,000 to $96,000 a year that these guys are working. I know these guys getting in that overtime too, right? Because when they, when you got those deadlines, like, and you working for the union, and you want to put that overtime in because you get time and a half. So maybe they're making anywhere from 65, 70 to anywhere from $120,000 a year. That's pretty doggone good. I remember, like, I couldn't wait to finally hit $100,000 a year back when I was in banking 20 years ago, right? Became a bank vice president, was so excited, 100 grand a year. Like, I had made it. That was 20 years ago though. Now, it was kind of the same way I felt about making my first $1 million a year. Like, you hit that threshold, you think you made it. Well, anyway, going back to the story. These guys are busting their butts. I'm going to tell you, they work 10 times harder than I work. They are, and their job is not easy. Like, I would go home and I would be just wasted, I'm sure. And I'm a pretty healthy guy, but that's some hard stuff, breathing in those fumes, riding around all that loud, those loud tools and machines, dealing with, just the stuff like eating on the run, lifting. It's hard work. It's hard work. It ain't easy. Well, guess what? They're making, didn't I tell you what? I told you that just last year we did a couple $1 million. So that means if they're making $120,000 a year at the top level, I'm still doing 20 times more in revenue than they're doing. But I can tell you, I ain't working that doggone hard, not even close. Why am I telling you that? Because relative to what a lot of people think, you get this cliche, hard work, you put in the hard work and then you'll have the success. Well, everything is relative. And when you think about the hard work, sometimes people think it's a different type of hard work. So it ain't easy, but relative to what most people are doing, it is very easy. I want to do the stuff that I do, helping people all over the world, answering, solving problems as it relates to, the business success, helping people get to success with Airbnb, get to success with building generational wealth for their families. But a lot of times we're doing that. Like, I do that here on Zoom. I do that inside of our training platform, but I also do that on yachts, right? Because my high level students, we hang out, we have yacht days and we mastermind on the yachts. Jet days, private jets, we're flying around, masterminding on private jets, right? Like, that's fun stuff. That ain't hard. So again, like, that's cool. But in order to get there, the disciplines that it takes, most people are not willing to do those things. Again, most people are not willing to do those things. So I'm 57 years old. Well, 56. I'll be 57 in a couple months. I'll run, like, I love running on the beach. Love running on the beach. I'll run on the beach. I'll go for, I'll go get up at 4:30 in the morning, get into the word, exercise, meditate, go to the beach before the sun comes up. I'm the only one out there, just me and him, and I'll go for miles, right? 8, 6, 7, 8, 9 miles, and I'm good. Most people, why do I do that? Why? Because number one, like, I love to just go, right? And not think about anything, just allow my mind to just go and just release. But also, that's, as my wife would call it, because she's a therapist. So she calls it, what is it? She calls it self-care. Like, that's my self-care, right? I like doing those things, taking care of my body, releasing all this stuff. Like, that's self-care. I want to be able to walk I want to be able to walk my granddaughter down the aisle. I want to be able to do that. I want to be there. I want to be able to, like, I'm hanging out with the grandkids. I love to hang out, like teaching them how to box, teaching them a little bit of martial arts, like those kinds of things. Like, I can do that because I'm vibrant, I'm strong, right? And being able to go, like, I just, anyway, this is God's temple. I want to take care of it. So those are the things. And then just sometimes just sitting and doing nothing but thinking. Most people are not willing to do that. That's kind of one of my colleagues, one of my coaches too, because, oh, by the way, I'm going to get into that in a minute too. When we talk about surrounding yourself with the right people, one of my coaches, he says, one of the hardest things that most people never do is just think. And it's so true. Like, that's how I've had so much success, getting up in the morning with nobody up, not even the birds, and just thinking, just working stuff out. Like those first few years, just working it out. And then by the time the sun comes up, I've already accomplished more than most people accomplish all day. Right? So just thinking. This thing is so powerful. We got to get used to using it. And most people are not willing to do that. So making the complicated simple. So how do we make the complicated simple? Well, when it comes to business, you get and surround yourself around people who've accomplished the thing that you want to accomplish. Simple, right? My students, when it comes to Airbnb, one of the hardest things for them to do before they get enrolled in one of my programs, inside the academy, is get the first place. Like, I get people saying, "Oh, I'm trying to reach out to these landlords. I'm knocking on doors, or I'm calling people, or I'm sending letters, and I'm trying to convince them, and it's been months. Nobody wants to work with me. Nobody wants to do Airbnb." And then they get enrolled in the program, and literally, I am not joking. I am, like, if I'm lying, I'm dying. Within 24 hours after getting enrolled in the program, they got more landlords reaching out to them, inviting them out to take a look at their places so that they can see how nice places are, and so that they can begin discussing them leasing those places for their own Airbnb business. They got more landlords than they can handle reaching out to them within the first 24 hours. Why? Not because it's easy. Relatively, it is. But what we've done is we made the complicated simple. My family and I, we don't just have just under 100 listings between New York and Florida just because we don't know what we're doing, or it was luck. It was because we figured these things out. And so as I'm teaching and helping people, they don't have to figure it out. We've taken the thing that was so complicated and made it simple for them. And then many of them are picking up their first places in the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks at most. Right? And these are places that when they pick them up, they're making more money off of that place than the landlord that's leasing it to them is making off of them. That's how they're able to create financial freedom so quickly. Because again, they don't even own the places, but yet they're making as much, if not more, than the landlords are making. So if you're a landlord, first of all, if you're a landlord, you need to learn how to do this stuff. If you don't want to learn, guess what? Contact me if you want to lease the places. I'll lease them from you. Send them all to me. I'll lease them. I don't care what city and state they're in. Just contact me. I will lease your place. All right. Now, all right. Let's get on. So making the complicated simple, so that what happens is you don't have to guess and spin your wheels trying to figure stuff out. With now, all you have to do, the thing that's getting the people the results that you desire, you just model it. You just model it. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't get cute. Just do the thing. Because scientifically, if you do exactly the same thing, I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, brown, tall, short, skinny, fat, like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. If you do exactly what that person is doing, scientifically, you're going to get a semblance of something similar as far as the result. You just got to get close enough to the people that are doing it, the people that you trust, that will show you like the real stuff, what's going on behind the scenes. You just got to get close enough so that they can see, so you can see what's really going on behind the scenes, then just model it. And when you model it, you're going to get the same results, period. Right? This is why also many people in Airbnb do not have success. Let me tell you why. It's because they're modeling people that they think are successful. Where they go, they look at Airbnbs, they go on Airbnb, they look at all these listings, and they go, oh, these listings look pretty cool. The houses look nice, the rooms look nice, the pictures look nice, the wording sounds nice. But when you look behind the scenes, you don't realize that the people are barely making any money. But you model what they did, and guess what? When you get your place, you're barely making or you're losing money, and then you're wondering why. You're thinking you're doing something different or you're thinking you're doing something wrong. Well, the thing you think you're doing wrong is not the thing you're doing wrong. You think you're doing something wrong because you believe that the people that you modeled are successful, and they're not, depending on what your idea of success is. What their idea of success, do you know that the majority of the people that have Airbnbs, all they use them for is basically they're doing Airbnbs out of their home. So it's kind of like a side hustle where it's great because they're using the additional income to kind of support things like helping them pay their bills, helping to pay some college tuition, helping them to go on vacation. But they may only be making a few $100 here and there. Like if you're going to put the time in to make a few $100, just go get a job. Just go get a job. But when you're a professional Airbnb host, like we are with hundreds, like my students are with hundreds, like in the academy, like tens of thousands of listings inside the academy, all over the world, Africa, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Bahamas, United States, Canada, UK, like listings all over the world our students have. And they're professional hosts, meaning they're not doing this to make a couple $100. They're doing this to support the vision God's given them for their life and their families. That you don't do that with a couple $100. They're doing this to escape their 9-to-5, get out of the rat race so that they can what? Now spend more of that quality time with their loved ones, their kids, right? So that, again, they can help family members who really, really need it, so that they could be more of a blessing to their church and their community. So that they can, if y'all been with me from the beginning of this conversation, so that they can change some of those generational cycles that I was talking about. Let me ask, how many of y'all are like, is that your desire? Is that your desire? Is that your desire to be able to escape the 9-to-5, get out of the rat race? Type it in the chat, right? No more rat race. Build legacy, right? Generational wealth. That's some of the reasons why they're doing it. And then also those gifts and those talents and those passions that we all have, that their kids have, right? And type in the chat, passions, desires, gifts, being able to nurture them and grow them in a way, because you have the resources, the time and the financial resources to nurture and grow them in a way to really make your mark on the world and on society the way you're called to. That's why they're doing this. It ain't so that they can have some side hustle. So if that's why you're doing it, don't go copying somebody that's doing it just so they can pay a couple bills because they got a place, an extra room in their home. Because then you're modeling the wrong thing. It may be working for them for the reason they want it, but that's not how you want it and why you're wanting it and why you're doing it. You got to model someone that's having that kind of the results that you desire. That's it. That's how I've done it. So this is why I say, if you are on the outside looking in, what would normally be hundreds or maybe thousands for those looking on the outside in turns into millions for those of us that are on the inside looking out, right? Those that have accomplished, have surrounded ourselves with the right people, right? And for me, I didn't just go from zero to $1 million+ in a few years by just figuring it out myself. No, I didn't. Like, I had to get around people in the coaching space, in the Airbnb space. Like, I'll be honest, like, I did kind of just figure that out. I did take a course in the beginning. When I say took a course, I bought like a webinar to learn it. And I think it was, who was it? Brian Page, actually. Brian was like one of the first people doing this stuff that I know of, right? So Brian had, I can't remember what Brian's program was. It was like $1,000. I ordered it. I paid for it. I just dove right deep just so I could understand Airbnb, right? And then I was like, okay, like I got an intense, real quick, overall big picture view of how Airbnb works. Now, how can I take what I want to do with it and make it work for me? So I told my daughter, like, this is what we're going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And so by the grace of God, again, I told you traditional real estate was something I've been doing. At that point, I've been doing it for about 25 years, and I had already made millions of dollars with traditional real estate, but I wanted to get out of that traditional real estate. By the grace of God, today I am. Like, I've sold all my traditional real estate, and now the only thing we have are Airbnbs, and all the Airbnbs we have, we lease them. We don't even own them. So anyway, that's not what we're gonna get into. So what I did though is I learned it, and then after I started having some success the first year and a half, there were a bunch of people that were asking me questions. And I, being in real estate that long, that wasn't new to me, but I knew I wanted to get into the coaching space because I helped a lot of people in real estate, but not formally, informally. Like, I would do deals and do different things with people, but I never really helped from a coaching perspective. But that was something that I desired to do. Why? Because actually my wife, she said one of the things that she always wanted to do was she wanted to go to Spain and just live in Spain for like a year. And I was like, man, you know what? How could I make that happen? With traditional real estate, I could do it, but not the way I was running mine. I didn't like management companies, honestly. Like, I had my own staff. I was doing stuff. And then, but at that point, like, I was doing homeless ministry. Like, I had a pretty significant homeless ministry of, and, where I did so much with the men and women in the community. I used my own places. And then I went and leased a bunch more places to grow it, to serve our community. And it was awesome. It was awesome. The Lord really called me to do that. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. I'm gonna tell you, I went kicking and screaming. But once I submitted, there wasn't anything else I wanted to do but that. And so when I went into homeless ministry, I wasn't really growing my portfolio, at least actively, but I kept getting blessed. The Lord was just dropping properties in my lap, even though I wasn't looking for them. because I believe, because I was obedient to what he called me to do, and he used me in a way that he wanted to use me in that space, even though my desire was to be really into doing more and more real estate, because he had blessed me with that gift. So anyway, I didn't have a management company anymore. I had my own, but I was just doing all the running around stuff myself. Now I had the homeless ministry. It made sense because I was always in the community. I was helping the guys. I would minister to them. I was mentoring them. They were doing, I gave them jobs and food and Bible studies and took them to church with me and all kinds of stuff. Like we had like 50 people. We have 50 places, and I worked with anywhere from 150 to 100 men and women a year. It was cool, right? So, but like traditional real estate, like after my kids started graduating from college, they started asking if they could work with me in real estate. And it was something that I truly desired to do. Like I truly thought that I would one day die without being able to share all the wisdom God gave me in the real estate space with them, because I never forced them. I was always going to wait until they started to ask, and they weren't asking. They were going to college. I said in the college, nobody was asking. But then when they started graduating from school, then they started asking. So, and then I was like, okay, all right, now it's time. And so Airbnb, I went from zero in the coaching space, in the Airbnb space. I really didn't have any mentoring there. I just kind of used my real estate knowledge after getting like some training on just Airbnb to understand how it works. And then I grew that. But in the coaching space, there's a couple people that I learned from. Well, I gotta give a shout out already. So real estate, the way I got into it, I want to give a shout out to Carlton Sheets. Now, if y'all go back anyway, Godfather Carlton, right? Carlton Sheets was the man. He was the one that how to buy real estate, no money down. That's how I started back 30 years ago with Carlton Sheets, 30 plus years ago. So I learned, and that was just ordering a course off of TV, right? Then I just grew and I got around more people in that space. As I got bigger, as I wanted to know more, I got around more people. I started traveling, buying seminars and things like that to get in the room with people that were doing. I think I did a Ron LeGrand. I did a Tom Booth. Like there was a few things I did traveling just to get in the room with the right people. I can't remember. There are a few other people. And that's how I grew. In the coaching space, the first person that I met in the coaching space was a man called Sam Ovens. Sam is from New Zealand. You guys might know him, consulting.com. And Sam had a program where it was called Accelerator. And I think it was like a $3,000 program or something like that. And I got it. He had a trial version where you could get in for free for the first week. And I was like, okay, like he's got all these reviews. Everything looks great. Like everybody's got great things to say about him. He's from New Zealand though. And like, how do I know this dude can really help me? But he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Like his webpage was the bomb. So I'm like, okay, let me check it out. Well, after about 2 weeks of going through Accelerator, I had already gotten some results after the first week, before the first week. And then the first week of the trial, I got some results. I bought the program. And then after the next week, like the next 2 or 3 weeks, I had pretty much made my $3,000 back. Actually made more than that. And I was like, okay, I ain't gonna play down here. Like I've already made millions of dollars in real estate. I ain't stupid. I ain't no newbie. I'm just a newbie in this space. Let's go to the next level. again, I didn't have to figure stuff out. There were already people that figured out, made the complicated simple. All I had to do was just model what they were doing. So I went to the next level. I think the next level, his program was, Sam's program was, so he had up level was the next program. So, so you had accelerator and up level, I think at that time was like $8,000, $9,000 or something like that. So I got it. And then that's when the hard work started for me, because the desire was to get to the next level of his program. The next level of his program was what was it? His mastermind program. And his mastermind program was a $50,000 program, and there was no payment plans. And in order for you to even be in the room to be able to get accepted into that program, you had to be doing $100,000 a month. So I'm like, man, I want to, and he only accepted 100 people into that program. So I'm like, man, I want to do that. It was called Quantum, actually, Quantum. And I'm like, I want to be there. So, all right, so what do I need to do? And so I started learning more, like applying this stuff to my program, structuring my program properly. And then it took me literally, I was going through it, because I figured, man, I could get there. I'm seeing all these guys, young girls, older guys, older girls, people from all over the world. Everybody's having success. And I'm like, man, how am I going to get to $100,000 a month? When? How long is it going to take me? Well, it took me just under 18 months from the time I actually joined Accelerator to getting in, to qualifying for Quantum, where I hit my first $100,000 month. I think it was like 18 months it took me. So something like that. And so Sam, but I got around someone and a number of people that were already in the program that were having success, that were doing already the thing that I wanted to do. And what did I do? I just modeled. I became a student. I modeled. And then I didn't know how much it cost to get into Quantum, but when they said 50 grand or 36 at the first time, and then the second time, I think it was 50 or something. And it was like, you gotta there's no payment plan. It's just give me a credit card. That was it. And that was I was honestly, I'm gonna tell you, I was in shock a little bit, because number one, I didn't know anyone. Number two, nobody in that program looked like me. It might have been one person. And number two, I had never spent that kind of money on some training that wasn't guaranteed either. No, I had never spent that money on some training, and I don't think I ever spent any money on something that wasn't guaranteed like that. There's no guarantee. It's up to you. Just follow, just follow. And you're in here because you want to be around other millionaires so that you can get to the next level too. All right, cool. So I did it, and I was in that program for a couple of years and had success, learned, but I'll be honest with you, I never, I couldn't crack the $2 million mark. Couldn't. I couldn't get there. I was stuck at $1.5 million, $2 million. I was stuck. And I don't blame it on Sam. I don't blame, his program was great. Sam is smart. That dude, he's we call him the robot, the droid. He's I wear an Oura ring today because of Sam. He talks so much about the importance of taking care of your body and being focused and laser and eating clean, thinking clean. He's smart and not being and again, the epitome of simplicity, not complicated stuff. He ain't into complicated. Is how to make the complicated simple. So that I was blessed. They changed my life, but I still couldn't crack 2 million. And then something happened. Something happened. Like I was on a journey. Well, first of all, the first thing that happened is Sam shut down Accelerator, then he shut down Up Level, and then he shut down Quantum. It wasn't because those programs weren't successful. They were very successful. He was making tens and tens of millions of dollars from those programs. But he had another calling, another assignment. Right? His desire was to build his training platform for the world to use. Not to train people, but to provide a platform that didn't exist so that people like myself could train others, right? In a way that's efficient. And this way he gets to reach people like all over the world. And instead of making tens of millions of dollars, when that thing is really hitting on all cylinders, he's going to be generating hundreds of millions and be worth, I know he's looking at $1 billion. He didn't say it, but I know he's looking at $1 billion valuation is what he's getting to. So, but he's not doing it for the money. He just loves doing stuff like that. So in any case, all that stuff shut down. And I'm like, okay, what's next? What am I going to do? Right. I got to be around others who are doing it. So I found someone else who had a program that helped others in business get to the next level. Now, I'm going to tell you, I thought like when I bought Sam stuff, I was in shock, right? It was in shock. Well, that was nothing. Spending $50,000 was child's play. I had to drop to get in the room of this other program, $350,000. Now you could get in cheaper. When I say cheaper, less expensive. There's other levels, $350,000. Now, why? Why was that? Why would I do something like that? And no guarantees. There was no guarantees. 350 grand. There was no guarantees. Now, the reason why I made the decision to do it was because I was already like, I was determined. I knew that I needed something and someone that could help me see what I don't already see, because they've done it for themselves. And I had to, like, in order to get in that room, like I realized that people aren't, even though they want to help you, like the time is valuable. But if I can get to that next level, $350,000 ain't nothing. Why? Because I'll be making that over and over and over and over and over again, although I only paid it once. Well, guess what? It worked. Now, why am I telling you all that? I'm telling you all that because making the complicated simple, what I thought I needed to do to get to the next level of my business success, I thought I just had to do more of what I was doing. Remember how I talked about simple or easy and hard? Like what I was doing was great. I was very successful doing it. I didn't really have to change what I was doing. I just had to change how I was doing it so that it wasn't so complicated. I already thought it was pretty simple. But in the scheme of things, it wasn't. It was a lot more complicated than it needed to be. And once I made that adjustment in my brain, because someone gave me the download, because someone showed me, then I was able to what? Model what they did and then execute. So I like to call it imitate I like to call it imitate what they're doing, duplicate how they're doing it, and replicate the success, right? So imitate who's teaching me, duplicate what they're or how they're doing it, and then replicate the success, because that's going to happen. That's going to be the byproduct of that. So that's what I did. And now, as I said, we are knocking on our first $1 million month. So why am I saying that? Again, I'm not saying that to brag, but I'm saying that because, first of all, I'm excited, honestly. Like, I'm really excited about it. Like, I'm really excited. You guys are probably the first ones that I've even said or told this. There's a couple people inside the academy I've told. My family knows, but it's exciting. Now, but I'm telling you this because whether it's life or business, what the things that, like, if you think you ain't gonna have to pay, you're gonna pay one way or the other. You're going to pay one way or the other. You got to invest in yourself. Whether it's your kids, you're gonna pay one way or the other. If you ain't giving your kids and your family, your wife, the time, your husband, the time, you're gonna pay, you're gonna have to give that time one way or the other. Right? Because the kids are gonna turn out with issues. Then you're gonna have to spend time doing stupid stuff to make up for the stupid stuff that they ended up doing because you didn't give them the time. Right? You didn't pour in as a mom or dad or a husband or wife. Right? So you're gonna have to invest it one way or the other. Invest it positively. Invest it not being reactive, but proactively. Right? And again, the word of God, if you follow God's word, then it's always going to be proactive. It's always going to be proactive. Right? So, but what about yourself? Like, you think about it from a health perspective. A lot of people go to doctors and they go to the doctor. And so before I get into that, let me, I'm going to wrap it up in a minute. Are y'all still with me? Like, type in the chat, does that make sense or not? Right? Does it make sense when you think about, just investing in yourself? Type in, invest in myself, like, type in the chat. Let's see. So now I'm going to leave you with this. So when people get sick, what do? Like, they go to a doctor, the doctor tells them, hey, your lungs are looking really bad. There's a spot. You need to stop smoking. So what happens? In many cases, what do they start doing? They stop smoking, right? They stop smoking because the doctor told them to, and now they got a problem when they already knew many, many years ago that smoking was bad for their health. Right? But now they're being reactive instead of being proactive and not smoking from the beginning, and they wouldn't even have this problem. In fact, their quality of life will probably be better. Same thing with eating. Like, there's a lot of things that we eat, that we know and drink, that aren't good for us. But until the doctor says, oh, you have high blood pressure, you got diabetes, you got, liver disease because you're doing alcohol, like all kinds of stupid stuff that people know early in life that if you do these things, it's going to cause problems, but they still do it anyway because it's about immediate, gratitude. Immediate reward, right? Satisfaction. And then later on, they really just shorten their life and their quality of life. And then they stop doing those things, being reactive to try and reverse the hands of time or extend what's already gone bad. So, but if we're proactive and we're doing the things that we know are good for us, good to us, good to others, good for others, then what's going to happen? Not only are you not going to have, you're going to reduce the chances of bad things happening, but you're also going to increase the chances of good things happening. And so when it comes to investing in yourself, don't stop thinking that everybody's out there trying to scam you. Like, do your research. But if you do your research and you got enough people saying that somebody's helped them, everybody can't be lying. Do your research. So what? Someone got away with it with you before. This ain't about them. That's between them and the Lord. Let the Lord deal with that part. You got a mission. Find the right person. And if they should be, right? If they're worth anything, if the doctor came into, if someone gave you a diagnosis and said, your heart is failing, you ain't gonna go look for some free doctor to help you, a free heart surgeon to help you. You got cancer. You ain't gonna look for some free cancer place to help you. You're gonna go get the best one that's gonna be able to help you the most and the fastest. And you know it's gonna cost. When it's about your future, your family's financial freedom, creating generational wealth, building legacy, you should have the same attitude. Go get the best. Don't be playing around with these knuckleheads out there. Don't get me wrong. I ain't, again, judgment-free zone. But when I say knuckleheads, you know what I'm talking about. Hopefully, I'm talking about these people that just out there learning stuff on YouTube, reading a book, and then talking about they know how to teach you how to do something. Come on. Been doing it for a year and telling you they know how to do something, right? Don't do that. Like, your families, your future is dependent on what you do with your time and your money and how well you use it. Remember, Warren Buffett said, decisions. So find a good person. Get around the right people that you like and that you trust has accomplished significantly, not just a little bit of what you want to do, but 10, 20, 30 times what you want or where you're at. Get around them. Chances are that just like the surgeon, just like the heart surgeon, the cancer specialist, they're going to charge you a lot of money to help you. Guess what? They deserve it. They're helping you. They're saving your life. Well, pay the people. Pay the people. People pay all this money to go to universities, and then when they get out, guess what? They can't even find a job. You gotta be kidding me. You got people that are really in the trenches every day, taking care of their families with the knowledge and the resources that they're sharing with you. They've been doing it for years, helping people all over the world. They're not a professor on some stipend, reading a book. They're teaching you something that works. Go find that person. Get around them. Model what they do, learn, imitate, duplicate, and then replicate the success. If you do that, I guarantee you, you will make the complicated simple. I guarantee you that your decisions good ones will far outweigh the bad ones. So just like Warren said, it'll go up. And then guess what? What you truly desire, the financial independence and freedom, building that legacy, helping family members who need it, being able to create generational wealth, changing generational cycles, you're going to be able to have that too. You'll be able to do it. So listen, this was my first live Zoom. Hopefully, if it was helpful, If it was helpful, just type in there generational wealth. Just type in there helpful. Just type in there I'm with you, coach. Like, whatever. I prayerfully was helpful. I'm just giving you like just full transparency, just from the heart. Next week, I'm gonna come and share some other things. I'll be sharing some things through the week. If there's something though, you got a question, this might be something, I don't know, maybe there, I can't even see questions. Let me see if I can see any questions, because some of y'all might have some questions. And if you do, then I'm going to answer them live right now. I'll answer the question. So, but I gotta take a look and see if I can see the questions in the chat. Let's see if I can see any questions in the chat. I can't. Let's see if I can see any questions in the chat. Okay, good. We got questions. Here we go. Live chat. Hey, Dina, God bless you. Makes sense. Love you, sister. See development. I'm listening. Yalem. Hey, Antonio, what's up? Okay, bro. Okay, so all right, Millie. All right, so do y'all got any questions? If y'all got some questions, I'm gonna let y'all into Zoom, and then I'll just answer some questions if y'all got some. If you don't, then next week I'm gonna show you some things next week, and then like, or just type some of the questions in later or throughout the week, and then I'll just get into answering questions next week. So let's see. All right. Well, this is fun. Like, this is real fun, and it's just my way of just adding value to the community, and just sharing what God's blessed me with. And let me just turn this thing off, and just sharing what God's blessed me with to share, and prayerfully it does make a difference. Some of y'all, you know, for someone, and if it does, then I've accomplished what I'm here to accomplish. And ultimately, with all that, I also just want to glorify Him. And so, let's see. All right. So with that said, thank you for listening. God bless you, and I will see you next week. Oh, and by the way, real quick. So Bible study, we're going to be doing a Bible study also. I'm going to be on Zoom. I'll be doing a Bible study. I think my son gave me a schedule. So we're going to be on the schedule. Let me tell you what the schedule is that he gave me, that we're getting ready to start. So the schedule that I have is going to be, let's see, where's my schedule? All right. So the Bible studies are going to be on Wednesday. The live group sessions are going to be on Thursday. And then on Saturday, I'm also going to be sharing some things. So I'll be back on Saturday in the morning, I think around 10, I believe. But I'll put it out there. And then and then we'll be releasing a video on Monday. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I'll be here live. On Monday, you'll be getting a video that won't be live, but on Wednesday, I'll be live with the Bible study. On Thursday, I'll be live doing the live group session. So come with your questions. If you got something about business, if you got something about life, if you got something about Airbnb, if you got something about real estate, whatever, like, bring them. I got you. And then on Saturday, I'm going to be sharing something outside of the Airbnb niche, kind of like this was tonight, but a little bit different. And that's it. So with that said, again, God bless you. Pray for me though, because we expect the baby to be born next week. However, you know, like, God does have a sense of humor. So it could come sooner. So if it does, just pray for us. We're excited. Baby number 1 was healthy. Great. We're just so blessed with that. All of you have prayed for us during that time. And now baby number 2 is on its way. It could happen any day now. So we expect it'll be here next week, but the countdown is on, and granddad and grandma, we're here. We're like, the Calvary has arrived, and we ain't going nowhere for a while now. So keep us in your prayers, and I'll keep you updated as well. God bless you. Love you guys, and you got this.